Reportedly, Manchester United have turned down the opportunity to sign Babukar Kamara in the January transfer window. This has been revealed by transfer guru Fabrizio Romano via the United plug. And the reports are they turned down the opportunity. The board turned it down due to a negative response, is what's been said right now. This is confusing to a lot of Manchester United fans that feel a defensive midfielder is needed. There are also reports today that Arsenal have been turned down in negotiations with Barcelona. Barcelona were trying to work out a deal where they were going to take a pierre-emerick Aubameyang. Ousmane Dembele was going to be part of the deal as a make-weight, and it appears Ousmane Dembele has no desire at this point to join Arsenal. So their needs and desires for new attackers is still yet to be resolved. Are Man United and Arsenal Football Club being let down by their boards right now? This is the Done Deal Show on deadline day. Hit that like and share button. Let's go. Transfer deadline day, and the news is coming thick and fast, but it is negative and positive for Arsenal and Manchester United. The Times reporting that United are not expected to sign a single player this month. And for me, this is again the Glazers not backing a manager. The fact that we're kicking the can, I'll do more in the summer, etc., is nonsense. It's further proof that things still aren't in position and in place to build a club philosophy, a club ethos, and buy players for the club. The new manager should be told, can you ask the question, can you get a tune out of the squad we've got? The answer is no, you're not the man for us. We're buying X type of profile, X type of style to deliver Y, Z, and everything else in between on the pitch. It's an absolute calamity. And the idea of turning down Babukar Kamara, as claimed and put out by Fabrizio Romano via the United plug, that United were offered Kamara a few days ago. Again, quite a lot of outlets a few days ago saying there's no talks, there's nothing between the football clubs. I knew that not to be the case, or not personally, just based on what I'd read. Lots of other credible outlets said that United were in for him. But it does appear that Manchester United, that be the board, have turned down the opportunity. Very much like Lingard. Ralph's happy for him to go. It all becomes about the board now, whether they sanction these deals or not. And Man United are weaker now as a football club than at the beginning of January. We have lost Martial. We have lost Donny van der Beek. We've lost Ahmad. Jesse Lingard still might leave today. Of course, for the right reasons, Mason Greenwood is gone. But now suddenly, from a creative and an attacking point of view, Man United are down to the bare bones. We're an injury or two away from a calamity. And unlike Arsenal that do have the excuse of, well, you know, we've only got one competition to play in, Man United are still in 3 tournaments. This is an absolute debacle. And if Jesse Lingard is allowed to leave today, it is only going to get worse. Turning down Kamara, who is a better defensive midfield player than any other player at Man United. And of course, there is always the risks that a player won't settle in straight away. It might take time to settle. But get it done now. If we end up signing him in the summer, it's going to be even more embarrassing. Get it over the line. He is relatively cheap. When you compare him to other top players in those positions around Europe, it still leaves you with leeway and room in the summer to buy other people in. The whole midfield needs an overhaul. Matic ain't there anymore, good enough anymore. Pogba's probably going to leave. Fred isn't good enough. McTominay isn't good enough. Donny probably won't be here. It's so embarrassing and frustrating to see Manchester United behave in this way. It really and truly is. It's absolutely calamitous. And I don't think you can get away from that. And of course, in North London, another report from Fabrizio today, as you can see here, that Dembele has turned down joining Arsenal on deadline day as part of the Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang deal, of course, via Fabrizio Romano that put this out sooner. That was offered, and look, there's no say yet. You know, I did tweet Fabrizio asking if there was any clarity whether or not it was actually Arsenal asking for that, or whether it was more Barca making that play, as it were. But that isn't going to happen. That isn't going to go through. That isn't going to get itself over the line either. And as I say, from my standpoint, Arsenal fans will come on later. I'm going to let them speak and have their say. They sort of seem to have this belief that it doesn't matter. It doesn't really matter who leads, because they don't need as big a squad anymore because they're out of all the tournaments. I don't know in Arsenal fans' heart of hearts whether they truly believe that. I'm not too sure. But feel free to have your say on this matter. But those are the two sort of really standout pieces of news. And I know everyone focused on who's signing who. And of course, here's the update from Ornstein on Lingard, that Ragnick has again given his blessing. It's now down to the Man United ball. This morning, Newcastle improved their offer, and West Ham returned with a bid on better terms than last year. So there's still the chance that Lingard could leave. And that's a big worry for me when I look at all this news in its entirety. You know, all this news in its entirety is, for me, that there is just so frustrating to see it behave in this, Man United behave in this way. And I know Arsenal fans are defending their club, so I'm not going to have a pop at them. I'm going to let Gooners on. We're live from 6 p.m. right through till midnight tonight, sponsored by BetVictor, bringing you the best coverage of transfer deadline day. We're going to allow your calls to come in as well. But I'm raging with this. I'm absolutely raging with this because it leaves Manchester United in a vulnerable position. I'm not raging for Arsenal fans because that's on you and your club. But I would be raging. I would be frustrated. I would be very, very annoyed at my football club if I was an Arsenal fan here as well, because there's no real movement for anybody. Nothing appears to be. Even the Douglas Luiz news has gone away today. Nothing. Both our clubs weakened our squads when we needed to improve. And to let Lingard leave now after what happened with Mason yesterday and no replacement coming in, it's ridiculous. It's absolutely ridiculous. And I know some people will say, oh, calm, Terry. See the wood for the trees. There's no precedent for me to remain calm. There is no precedent at Man United over the last 9 years for me to remain calm, irrespective of Ralph being here. Do I think Ralph's turned down Kamara? No, I don't think he has. I believe this is Glazeronomics. We still think we can make the top four. We still think we can maintain the income without having to spend extra. And when you're a clubhouse, it's wrong. Ragnick's a new manager. Yes, he's only here for the rest of this season, but he should be backed. A good quality central midfield player gives us a much better chance of making the top four, creating more stability. And I hope we do it irrespective. But an extra player with advanced quality over what we've got is needed. And the same could be said for Arsenal as well. I'm seeing too many gooners sitting there pretending to be calm, pretending to be relaxed, pretending that this is okay. For me, it isn't, especially with Tottenham going out and buying quality as well. Teams around us improving as well. Now being ignored. It's absolutely ridiculous. It really is. It really is frustrating. Arsenal getting rejected left, right, and centre is hilarious, is what Sia's got to say. I mean, look, of course it's frustrating for Arsenal fans to read. I don't think any Arsenal fans wanted Ousmane Dembele. I don't think many people want Ousmane Dembele, not because of his lack of ability. It's the sheer fact that he's hugely injury prone. Do people really want him? I don't think so. But it isn't nice to read, with the other players that you've gone in for that you haven't been able to land so far this month. It really isn't. Comment here. Is this the biggest ever test for Ralph Ragnick in his life? I think working with the Glazers in its entirety is going to be, because this is where he'll see those moments of there's a player available now for us to go after, and we've ignored it. There's an opportunity to buy a particular player, and we've ignored it. In this month, we've been turned down by Julian Alvarez. We've been turned down by Dennis Zakaria. And then we look at this Kamara deal. And the rationale may be we're going to go big in the summer for somebody else. Who's that going to be? You know, a lot of people have got question marks over Yves Bissouma because of the court case surrounding him, but he's better than what we've got. He's available now at 50 million. I believe in my heart that Ruben Neves is available now. 45, 50 million, he's yours. You've got Declan Rice. West Ham probably wouldn't accept a bid right now. He's going to cost you 80 to 100 plus million pounds in the summer. And as we were saying the other day, this month you could have spent Declan Rice money on Bissouma, Kamara, and Ruben Neves and overhauled the midfield. And I'm not suggesting that business like that isn't always done in January, but it's been done on occasions. Man United overhauled half of its midfield defense to create one of the greatest defenses in Premier League history by bringing in Patrice Evra and Vidic. And one of the reasons we did that is to stop other people from sniffing around them. This was the right time to act with the new manager. Let him bring in a player or two of his own that from day one are buying into his philosophy. You enable that philosophy to be instilled into the new manager. This is how we're going to play as a club. Can you hack it? Can you do it? Yes. That means those new players are bought into the new idea again. And it keeps everything on an even keel. Money is at play here. They didn't want to spend extra because they feel they can generate the same level of income based on the investments that they've already made. And it's already making me fearful of a very poor summer as well. It really is. And I know a lot of people don't like, why you got to be negative about the club. I can't help myself. I can't help myself when it comes to the Glazers. We've let ourselves down here massively. Absolutely let ourselves down massively in this transfer market. Let's have a little look here. Ragnick is not getting backed. Is disgusting, in my opinion. This is the Glazers all over, Terry, is what Craig Barlow's got to say. Terry, United are holding out for Rice, which is a terrible mistake. And I also agree with you. That's a great point. We are holding out for Declan Rice. How likely are we to sign Declan Rice over Chelsea? It's low. I think Man City might come in for him and get him before we do. And if we go all in for Declan Rice, but then we've missed out on Dennis Zakaria, if we miss out on Hadara, if we miss out on Bissouma, if we end up missing out on 3, 4, 5 of these options, and then we don't get Declan Rice, we're in trouble. And I don't know if people are aware, but you can play with at least 2 central midfielders in games. So buy one of these players now and still go for Rice. Still go for Rice. To turn down Kamara, for me, is gross negligence by Manchester United. Absolute gross negligence. It's gross negligence. It really, really is. Akita here says, God, these Glazers are clueless clowns. I hear you on that. Thank you very much for shouting out the terrace, my friend. We are, again, as I said, we're live later on today as well from 6 p.m. We're having a kind of panel and then rotating people in and out over the course of the evening. So it's going to be a fun show. The only reason I can think how stupid someone can be, let alone 3-5 people. I can't read what you're saying here. Defo gone. Wouldn't be surprised. Okay, you wouldn't be surprised if CR7 and Bruno go. If Man United end up missing out on this top 4, I wouldn't be surprised if they leave. All of them go. Why would you want to stay here? It's ridiculous. It's legitimately ridiculous for people to want to stay here and want to be here with the way this football club is run. Some Gunners have no shame bantering Spurs when they have signed no one. It's looking like panic mode for Arsenal at this point. And it feels like panic mode for Arsenal. Obviously, we've seen the news today that Isak has flown out of the UK. I believe he's gone to Dubai. Not that I care where he's gone, if I'm being honest, but he's no longer here. That was the big story over the course of the weekend. And something I said on the show, I got excited on the show, and it was a little bit of fun, having a bit of a laugh and a bit of a joke and a bit of a bubble about the news. But as we can see here, he has left. He has gone. As we tweeted out a little while ago. But it's this case of when I'm looking at this situation, to me, it's like that car. I thought the car was his when someone showed me it's just been taxed and stuff and bought in January. Then it turned out, no, it's a 3-year-old car. It was renewed its tax. And obviously the person that owns it was winding gooners up. I've been sent 3 or 4 more pictures of it of different parts in North London. Everybody was getting teased. But a lot of Gooners believed on Friday night, Edu only posted a picture with himself drinking wine because something was brewing, something was cooking, something was happening. I got pelters last week for supposedly trying to trigger Arsenal fans into outrage over their poor window. And it's because our owners, when are we going to wake up and realize that our owners haven't changed? Leopards don't change their spots. And if they do, I'll hold my hands up and say I'm sorry. This was the opportunity for us this window. So far, they've failed. Man United needed to strengthen for multiple reasons, and we've failed. And in fact, both our squads are weaker. Both our squads are an injury to away now from calamity. You've seen how we've all coped when we have to rotate. You've seen how we cope when certain areas of our pitch are weak. Man United could still lose Phil Jones, by the way, who came in and did quite well for one game, and Lingard today. It's ridiculous. Anyone defending, listen, you're entitled to defend it, but no one yet has given me a good enough reason as to why it makes sense. And I know that future planning is key, but there are moments where you act. Terry, will United buy anyone like Igalo? I'm not too sure. There's no talk at the moment of a Man United signing as of now. There were reports out of France this morning of Yves Bissouma, but nothing has really transpired from that point. Nothing has moved forward in that regard. There is no sign as things stand of any players coming in. Only players leaving. Interesting comment here, just out from John Cross, who has said here, this is anyone who's hoping today to sign Ousmane Dembele. This is an update from John Cross, which we're going to put out now, that says Dembele is staying and is not in the Aubameyang conversation, is what John Cross has got to say here. That kind of really bigs up and supports what Fabrizio Romano had said just a short while ago in relation to that potential transfer. But that isn't going to happen as it stands right now, as far as we can tell. There's an update here from Fabrizio, actually, in relation to Jesse Lingard, that says Lingard wants to leave United. He's told Ralph again today during a face-to-face meeting. West Ham and Newcastle were still keen on signing him up to Man United now. One to watch in the last few hours. How can this happen? How can this be allowed to happen? We're going to be left with Cavani and Ronaldo, Rashford and Sancho. We're left with 4. Am I missing someone? Elanga. He's a kid. He's barely played. We're going to be left with 4 senior attackers to fill 3 positions. Or have I missed someone? Sancho, Rashford, Cavani, Ronaldo. Who am I missing? Someone said Mata. Get out of here. He ain't senior anymore. He doesn't play. Elanga. Senior players, I'm saying here. We've got 4 senior players for 3 positions. You're having a laugh. You're having a laugh. 4 senior players to play in 3 positions. 18 more Premier League games. Champions League, FA Cup. And people are saying Hannibal can come in. Elanga can come in. Why are we putting that pressure on these kids? To be our saviours. Come on. Come on. It is not on. It is not on. Not on at all. It really ain't on. So frustrating to see and hear. It really, really is. For Ragnick, and I don't understand why Ragnick's giving it permission either, if I'm being absolutely honest with you. It don't make sense. Just typing something, calling myself down. Thank you for the super chat there, Strip Bear. It means a great deal to me. Make sure like buttons are being smashed as well, people. Get that done right now. Hit it. Let's get this past at least 500 likes while we're on the air. Listen, we're going to open up the lines now. If anybody wants to come on and have their say about any of these talking points, we want to hear from you today on the Football Terrace. It's a joke. No one's talking about it. And don't give me none of this youth bollocks. You won't find someone who supports our youth more, but we shouldn't be putting this kind of pressure on them at all. It's atrocious. It's atrocious. Links in the comment sections. Come on and have your say. Raging with this. Raging with it. Manny's here to have his say with us now. What you saying, Manny? Are you there, Manny?
Terry, I'm fucking fuming, mate. Absolutely disgrace. Two things I want to talk about. First of all, okay. First of all, is the youth. Yeah, people saying, "Oh, we're gonna loan
Yeah,
out."
do me a favor. Whatever you're doing with your microphones, try and keep it as still as possible, please.
Okay, is it good now?
That's better. Yeah.
Okay, the first thing about the youth. People, wake the fucking up. The Glazers are scamming you. We have loaned out Martial, Van de Beek, and which more player was it we loaned out? Those two and another players, and we've got no one in, and they want to paint out, oh, the youth gonna save us. People, wake the fuck up, man. That's just more dividends to them. They're gonna save up their wages, and instead of buying a new player, instead of spending 20, 30 million pounds, they're gonna use the youth as an excuse. That's more dividends to them, man. Wake up. The youth, no, listen, youth may be good if your team is winning, if you have senior players that the youth can integrate in. But the youth cannot be the star of Manchester United, guys. Come on, this is United. We should be winning titles. We should be winning trophies. Do you think the youth gonna lead us there by themselves? And secondly, Terry, this is very controversial, but I don't want top four. Sorry. What's the point of top four in my opinion? This transfer window was a listen. I think with the squad we have right now, I think it's still possibility we can get it. But the transfer window for me, if we sign a player, it would mean that okay, there's a message now. We made a mistake with Oli, but we're gonna create not make the same mistake, and we're gonna fix those problems by signing a midfielder or any player. They didn't even do that. I don't want top four because the only good thing the top four brings is more money to the Glazers. And factually speaking, Terry, I know that you know this. Every year we get top four, the Glazers spend less money. Every year we get top four,
I hear you. I don't know what you're banging on there, but listen. I hear you, mate, Manny, and I hear the frustration in your voice. Thank you for calling in, my friend. And look, I hear where Manny's coming from. I completely and utterly hear where Manny is coming from. I understand the frustration. I understand where he's coming from because this is infuriating. This is infuriating to see. I didn't even deep it until a moment ago. 4 senior attackers left in the Manchester United squad for the remainder of the season. You suddenly lose 1 or 2 to an injury. We've got no one left. Alanga shouldn't have that pressure put upon him. There's Hannibal people are speaking about. He's never kicked a ball at professional level in the Premier League. We have no idea how good or bad he's going to be. Everybody said, remember Chong was going to be Hazard. No, you never know how someone's going to translate. It's absolutely ridiculous that United are allowing this to happen, and letting Lingard go out is ridiculous. And if you think about it from a midfield point of view as well, Donny's going to go. You know, you can kind of cross Lingard between both positions. I know he can play a little deeper at times, but he predominantly plays as an attacker. Donny now leaves. You know, Paul Pogba, yes, he's returning, so it will feel like a little bit of a new signing. But all it takes is another injury in those areas, and we're weak again. It's absolutely shocking. Shocking to see indeed. Shrey's with us now. What you saying, Shrey?
Hey, Tay, can you hear me?
Yes, bro. What are you saying?
Yeah. Okay. So first thing is the only reason I see Manchester United not signing somebody right now is because say if they sign somebody and the new manager doesn't like the signing, so that's a waste of say whatever the money they spent on. So I think that's the only kind of thinking behind United not signing any players. And honestly, I'm furious with almost all the top clubs. I think the biggest winner out of this window is Manchester City. They've signed Alvarez, which United and a lot of clubs are looking at. So I think all in all, I think that's the thinking why United haven't signed even Chelsea. Even Chelsea, I'm furious because why the hell haven't we signed Gersons who went to Inter for 20 million. That's like peanuts to us, and we need a left back like desperately. Not to make it a Chelsea show, but the point,
No,
the
I
point
hear
is,
you. Yeah.
yeah,
No,
yes,
I
that's the point. I mean,
No, I hear you. And look, my view's been this for a while now. I don't care about this notion of, but the new manager might not like the players. That to me is the road to ruin. That to me, picking players specifically for a manager to fit his style, his philosophy, is the reason why in the modern day footballing world, we are we're not even bridesmaids. We are page girls and we're flower girls and page boys. We're not even bridesmaids. We're not best. We're not secondary. We're right down the. In fact, we're not even them. Everyone goes, at them. We're ushers. Like when you got a mate you don't really like, but you've got to include him in the wedding, is you get upset. You're an usher. Can you show people to their seats in the church?
right,
That's what Man United are now. We're nothing.
right.
And people are trying to twist it into.
I mean,
and I respect.
yeah.
One sec. Jay here says. I just named 6. Ronaldo, Cavani, Sancho, Bruno. Pogba and Bruno are midfielders. They're not inside forwards or strikers. And yeah, Pogba can sometimes cover on that left-hand side, but we're not very good when he's there. They are midfielders. I'm talking inside forwards and strikers. We've got 4 left to cover 3 positions for 3 tournaments and half a season. It's a shambles. Shrey, I appreciate you coming on, mate. I appreciate you coming on, brother, and having your say. Thank you. Listen, it's a madness to me. I don't understand it. I don't understand it at all. Comment here says, Terry, you're so reactionary. Hang on a minute. How is it? This is 9 years. 9 years. And you think this is reactionary? My giddy gosh. My giddy gosh. Thierry Ten Hag doesn't choose his players at Ajax. Imagine if he came here and did that for the first time. That's the point. Managers have an input, but it's based on the way the club want to do things, And sometimes you get a match made in heaven. If you pick a coach who coaches in the way that you want your team to play, it's easy, right? It means the manager can pick the players because it's conducive. It works collectively, But if you buy, I'll give you an example. Have you ever seen people that work as buyers? They're buyers for big companies. I've got a friend who's she buys bikinis for, it's not Boohoo, it's another one like Boohoo. Another one of those things you order online. She's a bikini buyer. She buys bikinis. She specializes in bikinis. Now, I'm not saying she couldn't buy other clothes, but if you've got a business that specializes in lumberjack boots, she may not be your best pick because what experience has she got in picking lumberjack boots? She does bikinis. Do you get where I'm coming from? Find the manager that fits the club's philosophy and has experience of that style of football, that profile of player. Create a match made in heaven. I don't understand why when I say this, people act like I'm talking Martian. It's basic understanding of how you make anything work. In any capacity, in any way, shape, or form of life. It's a madness to me. Julian's with us now. What are you saying, Ju?
Hey, what's up, Terry? How's it going?
I'm all right. I'm just a bit frustrated at my club. I'm all right. What are you here to say, bro?
It's the same thing every day. To be honest, I don't think we're going to sign anyone, but I think we're actually going to lose another fucking member of our team in this window. I think it's going to be Rolf. I think he's going to look at us the way that we're operating in this window. And after yesterday's news, after loading out Van der Beek to Everton, obviously Martial to Sevilla, and just seeing the way in which this club actually runs when it comes to transfer time, I don't think he's going to want to take the upstairs job. I think this is too much of a challenge for him in the sense of not that he's not up to the job. I think that the Glazers aren't. And I think he's going to see that. I don't think that this is going to be a long-term thing for him. I think after the 6 months, I don't know. There's just something in my gut telling me that he's not going to be up to the challenge of dealing with the bullshit that comes with the Glazers. Like, if people aren't going to see what they are doing to the club after this window, they're not bringing in the reinforcements we need. We're not going to make it out of our next stage of the Champions League.
Mate,
it's as simple as that.
I hear you completely. I hear you completely, and we've had Dean on the show talking about this. Dean was right with a lot of his predictions about this window. He felt Spurs would bring players in. Now a few got rejected, but they still managed to get it done. He spoke about, whenever I spoke about Arsenal deals, he was like, it just doesn't look good for people coming in. He got lambasted and attacked by people. And another thing he said that things aren't as rosy, not with the players and Ragnick, but the way Ragnick's feeling at Man United, because it's almost as if, well, I'm not being listened to. And he's the best football mind in terms of who could sit on a board that we have had at Manchester United since Fergie and David Gill. And he is not being listened to. And there's a comment that's coming here on Twitter that says, Terry, but we're only down to 4 because you can't plan for one of your players going to jail. Cool. Scrap what Greenwood's done. Imagine Greenwood ruptured his cruciate ligament yesterday. You're still left with 4. If you're allowing Lingard and Martial and Ahmad to all go, somebody has to come in. Because the point is, the reason that Greenwood's out, it's irrelevant for what I'm talking about. You've left us this week. Let's say Greenwood didn't do anything. Magic one time, he'd done nothing wrong and he was here. But then Cavani tomorrow breaks his leg and can't play. Same thing. You've left us weak. And it's why I can't, like when Arsenal fans we don't need a big squad. Cool. You get 2 injuries in your first games back after this international break for the rest of the season. Say in midfield, how many more games you're gonna lose? You know your midfield. You had to buy someone. It's crazy to me. I don't understand the PR and the defending of the Glazers. It's mad.
It's been ongoing for years. I don't see it stopping either. And the thing is, in my mind, after seeing the whole, not to harp on about Greenwood, but like with him being brought into the limelight so early in his career, I don't know if, yet again, like you've said this, don't do that to the younger players. Like I think it was a combination possibly of that pressure along with the freedoms that he's been given. I mean, he's a millionaire, 20 years old. I think obviously the behavior existed beforehand, but you never know that this might push younger players into that same mindset because everything is thrown on, it's thrown onto them way too quickly and they just can't handle that pressure. I mean, in fact, if any of these players come onto football Twitter, they see the comments, some of it is understandably, when you put in a bad performance game after game after game, with Martial, for example, I was a big fan of him, still am. I hope he does well at his new club. But, you come onto Twitter and you see the toxic nature of this platform. If you're 17 years old or 18 or however old these kids are in the academy, I don't know if that's necessarily the best thing that is for their mental health. And I think that goes a long way in future development.
I don't necessarily think that online criticism and abuse is an excuse or is a gateway to the stuff that Greenwood did. But what it certainly is a gateway to these. This is the thing with Man United. We get part. These 4 players are fit. We get past Atletico Madrid. We suddenly get a decent draw, and we're into a semi-final, and then maybe we move. We're doing all right. We're 4 points clear in the top 4, but then there is one of these injuries, and then all the pressure goes on these young kids to play. You're right. The toxicity that comes with maybe one of those young kids failing and United not achieving what we maybe expected, we know it's going to become poisonous. And how do we know it's going to become poisonous? We've been sitting here watching it for 9 years unfold. So that element of what you've said, I agree with completely. I really, really do agree.
Yeah, I don't say the abuse is warranted, like the racial stuff. Nothing.
I know you didn't say that. I just wanted to clarify it because people will twist what you've said. Mate, great call, Julian. Thanks for coming on and having your say. Top man. Thank you. Igal's now here with me. What are you saying, Igal?
Nobody wants Ousmane Dembele. Ole, ole, ole. I'm telling you, Terry, nobody wants that guy. Nobody wants that guy.
He did reject you, though, as well, to be fair.
Nobody wants him. He's an injury-prone guy. You know what? He's like Peter Griffin when he falls over. That's all he's gonna do every single day. Poor guy, man. He needs to get healthy. You know what? Bukayo Saka and Pepe are gonna be on that right side. We're gonna have Martinez and ESR on the left side. We don't need Ousmane Dembele. And you know what? Fabrizio Romano, you've been trolling us all day. I love it. Keep it going. Rent free and everything.
In terms of Arsenal, I know you're going to be on, hopefully, on the Bet Victor show and the Deadline show later on tonight, and we'll go into. Are you starting to feel nervous now? Because at the moment, it doesn't seem like Isak's not coming. There's no talk of Douglas Luiz today. It looks like you're not going to strengthen. Do you have any concerns?
I am concerned, but I'm still optimistic that we're going to get a signing done. I surely it is impossible that we don't get something done. It's impossible, Terry. There's no way that we are going to go this whole January window and not sign anybody. Because one, we need a striker. We're gonna let Aubameyang go. Possibly Eddie Nketiah could go to Newcastle. Possibly he could still stay. But Eddie Nketiah and Lacazette alone only have 2 open play goals this season. We cannot expect us to go the rest of the season with just them 2. Plus, if we let go of Aubameyang and Eddie Nketiah, that gives me a sign that we are going to bring somebody in. I'm hearing rumors about Pepe going on loan. I'm hearing rumors about more outgoings could happen before the end of 11 o'clock deadline or 10 o'clock deadline. Surely Surely there's a plan. There's something happening behind the scenes that we don't know about. And I don't feel like a lot of the journalists are in the know.
Fair enough. Rashi, Alanga, CR7, Cavani, Sancho are better than Son, Kane, Morris, Saka, Martinelli, Odegaard. Still no excuse for not achieving top 4. Listen, and that's a fair point. Again, I think you've maybe misconstrued what I'm talking about. If those 4 players cook, plus Alanga cook, if Rashford and Sancho are in great form, Cavani and Ronaldo great form for the rest of the season and stay fit, there's no problems. You get one major injury to one of those senior guys and you're thin. My point is, when you're a club the size of Man United, Arsenal, Tottenham, Liverpool, you shouldn't be allowing yourself to go that thin. We plan for at least 3 to 4 of our attacking players to be out of this team and away during January. For me, yes, you want to shrink it a bit, but we've left ourselves vulnerable, and I stand by that. Although I do hear your point there. We'll probably talk about it more on the show later. But so far, how impressed have you been with Tottenham's 2 new transfers they brought in?
That was easy for them. They basically have the tactical director they used to be at Juventus. They have the connections. They have everything. They got 2 players from Juventus. If I'm mistaken, am I wrong? So it was pretty easy for them to get done. Good job for them. They've gotten signings in. Liverpool fans, you should thank me because I said on the Bet Victor show the other day that Liverpool are not going to sign nobody. Now you have already signed Douglas Luiz, and you're going to get a second one done. So you have me to thank for that. And what else is there? Chelsea aren't going to sign nobody. Manchester United probably not going to sign nobody. And I'll jinx my own team. I don't think Arsenal are going to sign anybody, but hopefully they do. That's just a quick jinx. Honestly, I'm optimistic that we're going to sign somebody though. And this window is going to be crazy. It's not over. I'm expecting someone to knock on the La Liga office's doors by the end of the day and pay that money. And hopefully we can get something done. Stan Kroenke's Rams won something yesterday. Hopefully Arsenal can get something done today.
Listen, I hear I'm liking the optimism. It's going to be very intriguing to see where things are come 11 o'clock. And I say we're going to be live for the majority of the evening in relation to. I just saw Divock Origi trending, and I thought maybe that was Arsenal linked, but he's not.
Also, Samuel Umtiti was linked to Arsenal. Probably one of the worst defenders over the past 10 years for Barcelona. I don't want nothing to do with him. Absolute garbage. I would have rather kept Pablo Mari than get Samuel Umtiti.
Yeah, I don't see you bringing him in. This is about trying to find a deal to get rid of Aubameyang that could be on his way out, but it's certainly giving me an intrigue. It seems like more people are frustrated than happy going into these last few hours. But Igal, we'll chat to you later on today, my friend, and we'll see you in a bit. Thank you. Next on the show, I'm going to get Bison on the show to have his say. What are you saying, buddy?
Yeah, Terry. I think so. The only one that's laughing at this moment is Daniel Levy. He's not spent any money and is going to get top 4. So that's because of Arsenal and United's incompetence to actually fight with Tottenham. I think so. Bentancur is a good signing, which Conte will actually improve the squad. And Kulusevski is an upgrade on Gill. So that's 2. I'm also excited for Burnley, 6'6" Warthog. I've just seen certain bits of him in the Bundesliga. I'm not too aware of him, but it would be funny, like if Newcastle go down, they spent 25 million on Chris Wood, and Burnley upgraded Chris Wood with 10 million, and they stay up in the Premier League. So as a City fan, I would love to see Newcastle going down.
It'll be interesting to see. Bison, top man for calling in and having your say, buddy. Thank you very much indeed. Tom Little is going to give us his thoughts right now as well. What are you saying, Tommy boy?
First time in a long time, I actually looked forward to it. Deadline day. Looking like there's going to be some good transfers, and my club is actually involved. Whoever has kidnapped John W. Henry and nicked his card so we can use that money. I love them. Hopefully we get this Carvalho deal over the line. I know it's a bit tight with Fulham not really liking us. Oh, good God.
Yeah, Ramsey, is it Rangers? Ramsey to Rangers, done deal. That's done.
I thought, didn't he turn down a bunch of Prem moves? They must be paying a big sum of his wages there.
Yeah, I don't know how the hell Rangers can afford that. There's no money in Scotland in footballing terms. But yeah, look, you guys obviously looking at young Carvalho, as you mentioned. You've already brought in Luis Diaz. What's it like looking at Arsenal and United fans starting to scramble and be frustrated and become annoyed?
It's a nice change because that's normally our fans. I think the best thing United could do at this point is not make a signing, because anything now will be a panic buy. There's no chance you've looked at Ousmane Dembele for the whole window and waited and waited and waited. There's no chance that Arsenal... Let's be honest, no one should be after Ousmane Dembele. He's so injury prone and he hasn't played enough football in the past year to justify a Premier League move when you're challenging for top 4. So none of the clubs challenging should be looking at him. I think there's major issues in both squads, but you've shown no sign of trying to improve that this transfer window. I thought this transfer window you'd get that Haidara from Leipzig, you know, with the Ralph Rangnick connection. That just hasn't seemed to materialise. I thought Arsenal would definitely get a striker. They've just been rebuffed by everyone, even Raul de Tomas from Espanyol or whatever it is in Spain. Like, that's how desperate they're getting. This is why you've got to do your business early, because when you get later and later on, you run more of a risk of a panic buy and overpaying for someone who doesn't work, won't work. And United, the best thing they can do, you've got a thin squad, as is, a lot of injury-prone players. But I don't know who you can add to that right now who will improve that squad enough to justify the price tag that you're going to have to pay on deadline day, which, as we all know, is like an extra 10, 15 million.
I hear you on that completely. I think I don't want it to be a panic buy. That's why I'm so frustrated, because I sort of feel like we just created a problem that we didn't need to create for ourselves. We could have brought in some quality, got it done. All this nonsense, all window of, the new manager might not like the players that Ralph picks. That's why Ralph's here to pick the fucking players. What are you talking about? It's ridiculous to me. It really is. A comment from Daniel here. Thanks for the super chat, buddy. Says Liverpool fans haven't been this happy. Also, welcome Aaron Ramsey to Rangers. Mon the Jers is what's said there. That probably means come on the Jers, I would say. KJ's with us now. What are you saying, KJ?
This football club, man. Absolute disgrace. You're turning down a cheap deal for a player who's got the quality and the potential to fit into our midfield. It's not like we was offered Declan Rice and they're saying, yo, family wants to join you. Yo, 100 million in January. It's 10 million. And we said no. And for me, there's no excuse. There's no excuse for the lack of foresight, the lack of planning, the lack of just being proactive in the market. I get that they're trying to toe this party line of, no, we're waiting for the summer for the right manager. And when the right manager comes, we'll get all his signings that he wants and we'll back the manager. Well, you're already making his life hard for him coming in, because now he's got to do a massive squad overhaul. And there's also still a chance that he still won't get the players that he wants, because either they will be gone to a new club, or we've got so much business to do, we don't get enough time to actually do what we need to do. So Ragnick is here to help us choose the next manager. So why don't you just let him choose the players? Like,
to make it's how it should work. Comment here says, so Terry, every other club signing players today are all panic buys. No one said that. They're talking about again, why is everything so polarized and binary in football conversation now? With all due respect to yourself, bro, like, wise up. That isn't what was said. Jesse Lingard's been a target of Newcastle the whole window. So signing him today isn't a panic buy. What would be a panic buy is Newcastle haven't scouted, spoke about, or tried to sign Dwight McNeil all window, and at 10:30 submit a 40-50 million pound bid for him in desperation for a player. That's a panic buy. Man United suddenly not planning. The crazy thing is the Greenwood situation for me isn't an excuse, because you should be planning for, okay, what happens, guys, if one or two of our attackers left after a mad Lingard and Martial leaves, gets a major injury? What then do we do? You know, maybe it is we promote youth. Maybe that's their approach. I think it's wrong. But you need to have these fail safes in place. United are going to end up panic buying, because we may end up panic buying if we buy someone like a Dembele that's injury prone just to fill the gap, where we should have had more planning and more foresight into this moving forward. And listen, people say that top deals are hard to get done this time of year. I disagree. I think you have to pay a premium, but you can get them done. Martin here says, frustrating as it looks like Kamara wants to get a signing on fee in the summer rather than move in January. Surely United could have convinced him. Oh yeah, again, but it's easily done. Okay, you won't get the sign. Just give them the sign-on fee now. It don't matter. Like, sort it out, work it out, get it done. Percival's joining us now to have his say. What are you saying, Percy?
Yeah, big up yourself, Terry. Can you hear me?
Yes, my brother.
You
What do
can
you
hear
want to
me?
say? Yeah.
I just want to say I'm a Liverpool fan, and I'm very happy to see Arsenal and Manchester United in the dump. Before you cut me off, you might like for here though, but everything y'all doing, friend, everything y'all doing making me feel real happy. Cause for the next 10 years, Arsenal and Liverpool and Manchester United ain't going nowhere with y'all leadership. How everything what y'all running is disaster. Just check everything what y'all doing for the last 2 months or so. It's disaster. There's no happiness. There's no thing. So I'm so proud and so happy to be a Liverpool fan right now. For the next 10 years, back in the days, all I could hear from the y'all fan is sheer pressure, buddy. When I got to school, was sheer pressure. So right now, I'm enjoying this. Tell you the truth, I'm really enjoying this. Just like I can tell you.
I don't like the look on your face, mate. Do one. I'm only joking. Listen, and that's football for you. You know, that's what the Football Terrace is about. You won't see it on any other channels tonight. It's just going to be all set groups of the same club, either moaning or celebrating. We're a bit of a mixture here. It's why we enjoy what the Terrace does. We will be back tonight live at 6 p.m. until around 11:30 midnight tonight. Make sure you're tuning in. The link's already available, so go and set a bookmark now. Go and like the page now. Get ready for it. We're having a number of people calling in throughout the course of the show to have their say. We'll rotate it up nicely to keep everybody interested. But until next time, everybody, take care of yourselves. Goodbye.